someone can literally retire with that kind of money, right?
Can you imagine going to hospital, staying for a week, and being hit with a bill of $367,000?
Flee the country. Peace out. Move into Brazil.
That's going to take decades to pay off if you don't have insurance. In the UK, that would have been free at the point of contact.
Why are US medical bills so extremely high compared to most of the world? I always find these videos very entertaining, and this one today is Indian and British doctors react to US medical bills. We've seen people react to these before, the differences in medical bills, how much an ambulance costs, how much to hold your baby. That's a popular one in the US. There's some cost to it for whatever reason. But I don't believe we've ever watched one where an actual doctor, British doctor, reacts to medical bills. And maybe they'll have more insight as to why, what's going on, what's happening, and have his take on it. It'll also be more entertaining, and it's been a while since we've done one of these medical bill ones or hospitals, NHS versus our system here in the US, our system. But I love learning more about the NHS and how pretty much every other Western country does healthcare. So let's just jump into it and add anything you can or any stories. I love hearing that when it relates to something about the medical field.
$9,000. Hey.
Oh yeah. That's nothing.
Hey there, little person watching YouTube. If you're new here, hi, my name is Ajay. I'm a doctor from India. If you're already subscribed, welcome back. I love you to the stars and back. So healthcare in India, where I'm from, is of two types. It's either given by the government, which is cheap and very affordable, or it's in the private sector, which is not very affordable. But if there's one country in the world that's very notorious for being very unaffordable when it comes to healthcare, like if you don't have insurance, you're basically f***ed, is the United States of America. So today we'll be playing an interesting game of guessing American medical bills. Now these are real medical bills from real American hospitals. These were made for us by someone, and I'll be doing that with my good friend Dr. Kiran Mojaria, who's a GP trainee here in the UK, who went to medical school in the UK, who has been working in the NHS for over 3 years now. He also has an amazing channel on YouTube, so make sure you guys check it out after watching this video. So basically the rules of the games are this. So I think there are around 4 to 5 bills, real American bills, and both me and Kiran, we're gonna take a look at it and we're gonna try to guess based on what we think it would cost. I think mine is going to be a bit different because I have worked in private sector in India, so it's still a bit expensive. At least by Indian standards, it's expensive. Kiran has only worked in the NHS. Basically, in NHS, most of the things are free. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how much we both guess these prices as. I know it's going to be bad, but how bad are these bills? Let's see. So bill number 1 is cesarean section and the cost to hold the baby. In India, in a very good hospital, it would be around 4 lakh rupees if you want like the best hospital with or like VIP suite and all that. I'm thinking it's going to be around $4,000, but I think it's going to be more than that.
I think, it's a surgery, there's an anaesthetist, there's going to be a surgeon, there's the operating theatre. I think it's going to be expensive. Let's go for $800.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So this is going to be a shock for sure. As we all know, the NHS doctor here, because I can tell you one thing, I think they both massively, I've never had a baby. I don't have a baby and I don't know much about it, but I believe it's going to be leagues above what both of them said. They'll equally both be pretty far off.
It's $3,000, which is not too bad if you ask me. Like, we have Indian hospitals which charge more than this, so I'm not very surprised by this. This is actually pretty decent if you ask me.
That was a lot better than I thought, actually. So I was going way too above. He did a really good job.
$3,100 to have a C-section. And bear in mind that some C-sections aren't even planned. So this may have been an emergency C-section. So imagine going for a normal delivery and then it being converted to a C-section and then being whacked with a bill of $3,000.
So then skin to skin after C-section. So basically what skin to skin means is that when the baby is delivered, we put the baby on the mother's belly so that there could be some one, bonding, and second, heat exchange between the mother and to the baby to keep the baby warm, basically. So there's a lot of evidence saying that this is a very ideal thing to do, but apparently they charge them for that. I have no idea why. So I don't know how much they charge. I'm guessing around $10, $20 because you shouldn't be charging for this, but let's see.
First of all, I'm surprised that they're charging for this, but I'm going to guess it's going to be very cheap. Let's say $40, $50.
I think he's right with the 40 to 50. Even though I agree with both of them, don't get me wrong. It should be it shouldn't even cost a penny.
$39.35.
Why?
I don't know why they're even charging for that. Okay, not very expensive.
$40, okay. Well, I think it's pretty astonishing that they've charged for that anyway, but at least $40 is kind of reasonable. Here, hold your baby, and that'll be $40, please.
Next one. Inpatient lactation consultation level 1, because this is going to be like advanced nurse practitioner or like a doctor giving the consultation on how to breastfeed the baby. I think this is going to be around $100
for a consultation like this, which is probably just some advice. Let's assume they've paid $100.
$61. This is actually quite affordable by American standards, if you ask me. I'm being very honest about it, because I think even Indian hospitals, a lot of them charge this much. So I'm not very surprised.
Let's compare this to the costs in the UK. So the C-section would have been free, the skin-to-skin would have been free, and the lactation consult would have been free as well. Next up, this patient presented with stomach pain to the ED, was given morphine, a PPI, a CT scan, and released 6 hours later.
So just look at all these service descriptions and what they did here. And if you've had any of these or known anyone that's had, ultrasound or a CAT scan, radiology, all this stuff, what would it be for you guys and what is it here, which we'll see shortly? I don't even know. I don't even want to guess. Thousands for sure, but how many thousands?
So the cost for the emergency department visit, let's guess, a couple $100. $3,000!
Whoa. $3,000 for just going into the emergency department. Pharmacy fees are $92. That's okay, affordable.
It's
so
fine.
Ultrasound scan, in India it would be around 1,500 rupees. So that's what, like $25.
The ultrasound scan, bear in mind that's just a jelly scan. The actual cost of that is just the cost of the
couple
person
hundred,
doing the
I'm
scan.
guessing. Couple hundred.
So let's go for $100. $1,000.
Yeah.
To have an ultrasound scan cost $1,000. That's insane. We give them out like sweets here.
So let's see how much it is. It's gonna be expensive. $1,000 for an ultrasound. Are they crazy?
And already be thinking about just having a child here. It's already really expensive. You have to, from making the room, maybe you need a new safer car, I don't know, the baby seat, and then to slap all of this on just to have your child.
Like $1,000, like that's 70,000 rupees. Like you could literally get like some 30-40 ultrasounds in India for that cost. This is very expensive. Maybe this is because it involves a radiologist, but even then they shouldn't be charging so much. $1,000 for a ultrasound is crazy.
For the CT scan, the CT scan surely has to be more expensive than the ultrasound scan, which was $1,000. So I'm gonna say $1,500. I just had to read it twice. $6,800 for a CT scan.
$6,867. $6,000 for a CAT scan. I think in India it would cost like a maximum of $200, even at a very good facility with very good CT machines. And I think in the UK, here in the UK, it's free because it's done only if you need to do it and the trust pays for it. Basically, the government, the NHS pays for it. So here is $6,800.
Crazy.
Right.
I just can't get my head around the fact that this CT scan was $6,800. I ordered like 5 of them today for free.
Radiology is $445. Maybe a doctor consult, but $445 for a consult is quite a lot. But I think radiology also includes an X-ray, chest X-ray, abdominal X-rays and other X-rays because this guy was in a trauma. So If that
All
was the
right.
case, 445 is still not justified, but it's okay. But if it's just the doctor's opinion, 445 is crazy money.
The total for this visit to A&E was $12,500. Imagine having stomach pain, going to ED, having these scans, getting some morphine, getting a PPI, and being discharged with them saying actually it's just gastritis, which doesn't need anything further doing, and then getting a bill for $12,500.
If you don't have insurance and you have a bill like this, that's going to take away like a quarter of your year's salary for just this one day, like some 6-hour visit to the emergency department. And that's crazy. Bill number 3, this patient.
Yeah, don't get sick here. You know, it's a crazy concept. And even having insurance, yeah, it'll take out a lot of the costs, but still, if you get a $12,000 bill, maybe you still have to pay, you know, $2,000-$3,000 even with pretty good insurance. I'm sure there's better insurances, but then you're paying still, unlike the NHS, unlike a lot of people from any other Western country, it seems like, and a lot of countries in general, crazy amounts, like very big amounts for just insurance in general, which typically, you know, you don't have to pay anyways. And I believe, I would bet it's a lot more than the people are paying in taxes, like a lot more than everyone from the UK and so on is paying in taxes.
Fell while rock climbing and broke his neck, back, and ankle. Had 2 operations and a week in a hospital.
Oh no, look at all of these. I didn't even look at this list. Surgeries on there. No. Recovery, that's probably going to be thousands already. Therapy, physical, all of those. This is, okay, if you thought the last one was bad, just wait.
Hospital. This guy, I hope he has insurance. So
I do
this is
too.
from 2016,
I do
so
too.
fairly recent. Laboratory services, 18,000. Quite a lot, but let's see. Diagnostic therapeutic imaging. This guy has had a lot of fractures. So I think there'll be a lot of x-rays and a lot of CT scans or CAT scans, like the Americans call it, involved. And a lot of ultrasounds involved. So if the labs took 18,000, I'm just taking a wild guess that imaging would have taken like some $25,000 at least. But let's see.
The imaging, so I don't know how much imaging this patient had. We know a CT scan is costing $6,000.
Yes.
So I'm going to go $10,000.
Do more. Triple it.
It's actually funny how expensive this is.
95,000.
A lot more.
So just for imaging, they've charged him $95,000. That's like more than a resident's salary in the US. Oh god, but just 1 week.
$95,000 for imaging. Did they give this man the MRI machine? I would be disappointed if I went to hospital, paid $95,000 and didn't get the MRI machine to come home with.
That should be gold plated, mind you.
This is crazy. Next, pharmacy. Basically all the drugs, all the medicines that they would have used.
No.
I'm guessing, because he was in the hospital, he would have had multiple surgeries. So I'm guessing around $10,000, but it's the US, so it's $33,000.
It's just a little $33,000 worth of medication for his 1 week's worth of inpatient stay.
Whatever they say, just triple it or more, and you probably got it. But this is interesting. Pharmacy. My mother is a pharmacist, and she has been for a long time now. I should have her do the opposite. Guess what? Because she's extremely familiar with every drug out there, what UK costs of any drug is, just to see. It's like, oh, this one's free, this one's free, this one's free. And maybe some of them will cost, $12. It's crazy to me how little it is, or 25, I guess, pounds. My mother, if I did that video in the future, would be very blown away by, how, she'll be much more interested in learning how other countries do medicine. I might do that for the future.
So ICU, it was charged 30,000, which is okay, because ICU, there's so much happening. You need to pay so many nurses, so many doctors, and there's so many equipments, everything you have to pay for it. So 30,000, even though it's more by American standards, I think that's okay. But then EKG services, so electrocardiogram, ECG, I don't know why they call it EKG, electrocardiogram with a K. But basically, EKG services is basically taking ECGs, and because he was in the ICU, I think a lot of ECGs would have been done. In India, it'll be like some 300 rupees for an ECG, so it's what, like $5 or whatever. But in US healthcare, everything is expensive. So let's see how much they billed him for EKG. $9,000. Like, how many ECGs did they take? Like, how can someone take ECGs worth $9,000? And like literally he was probably on like ECG like throughout his whole stay or something. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. This is weird.
EKGs in the UK we call ECGs, and actually the cost of these shouldn't be much because you just stick some stickers on and then do an ECG. So I'm gonna guess that this was $1,000. $1,000 would be a lot for this. It's just a cheeky $9,000. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then the emergency room, because he came into the emergency room, I think they would have charged him for the emergency room services, the doctors, the nurses and all that. So I think based on the previous bill, I would guess around $3,000, $5,000. Let's see. Emergency room, what? 30,000? Dude, what are they gonna do for $30,000? It's like half of a resident's yearly salary in the US. What are they gonna do with $30,000?
Wait, just going to the emergency room is $30,000? I didn't really... my mind is going in multiple different directions now. I lost focus right there, but it's flailing. Whatever $30,000 for whatever it's for, I hope he comes out with half of the emergency room.
Again, this is daylight robbery if you ask me. There's no other way to describe this.
The emergency room was just another $30,000. Imagine going to A&E and paying $30,000. I actually can't even get my head around how much that is. I really hope this patient had insurance. The surgery cost, if the scans are that much, the surgery has to be way more. So I'm going to go $50,000.
Again, this guy was in surgery, 2 surgeries. So that would have been a lot of money. And following the theme, I'm going to guess $100,000
Yeah, honestly.
for the surgery. $47,000.
Oh, okay.
Not too bad comparing it to, like how much like imaging and all took. Is weird, right? Like imaging is $95,000 and surgery, which involves so many doctors, specially trained doctors, so many nurses, anesthetists, everything is $47,000. So I think they're, ripping people off in the imaging and diagnostic services, and they're cutting costs in surgery.
So all in for that operation was $50,000 for the surgery and also $16,000 for the anaesthetist, $4,000 for the recovery.
Yes.
So that operation itself cost $70,000.
So the total charges for this guy who broke his neck while rock climbing, I should have been more careful, but it is $367,435.80, and that's much more than most junior doctors' net worth, even a lot of mid-range doctors' net worth in India and even in the UK. Doctors make a lot more in the US, but even then this is a ridiculous sum of money for one accident. 367,000 is like someone can literally retire with that kind of money, right?
Can you imagine going to hospital, staying for a week and being hit with a bill of $367,000?
Flee the country, peace out, move into Brazil.
That's going to take decades to pay off if you don't have insurance. In the UK, that would have been free at the point of contact. And finally, we've got another bill which has been blacked out but cost $2.5 million.
Oh my! What can this be for? Okay, I've heard of crazy ones before, hundreds of thousands. I've heard of that, but not over $1 million. I can't even imagine. Like, did this guy need like all new organs? I have no idea.
For a hospital stay. Thank we live in the UK.
So there's this other one bill that just
What's it
says
for?
patient responsibility. What patient owes to the hospital is $2,422,772.45. $2.5 million as a hospital bill. I think this would have given the patient another heart attack and he would have passed away after seeing the bill. I hope he hasn't, but I think he has. And this was made by one of Kiran's friends, and it says, "Thank I live in the UK. Yes, thank I'm not in the US. At least when it comes to medical bills."
That is crazy. I want to hear anything, but look at this comment real quick. American healthcare is so good that if you have an accident, you should order a private jet instead of an ambulance and fly to Europe for better care and for 1/4 the price, including the flight of a private jet. And honestly, yeah, for sure. That comment definitely sums up the craziness. And I've heard people from other countries will go back to their country for dental care and for healthcare because it is way cheaper to fly back and travel pretty much and come back than it is to get it here. Hopefully these people had insurance, but not everyone does, and that is these bills, that's crazy. But I would love to hear your thoughts. I love your stories on these videos. I love hearing like what you have paid for these things, or what's a big or small amount for you guys, what's unbelievable here. Do you get insurance when you come to the US if that's possible? Like, hey, if I get hurt, I am not going in their hospital, or I need some insurance. I don't even know what's out there, but please give me any context to that. And I'll do more of these videos. These guys are very good. I'll look at more from them and do more in the future. So thank you for watching and have a good rest of your day. I'll see you next video.